Hello, I'm Ed Dixon. I'm the owner of the Edward A. Dixon Gallery, and I am the creator of this project. We're doing it all wrong. It's been about 10 years since I first kind of had the idea to do something with art to kind of express some of the things people were seeing that maybe felt like I did, or just had views on other things that they wanted to talk about. It's been 6 years of doing the exhibition. It's probably been, with this exhibition, probably over 100 artists have participated, maybe 140, 150 pieces of art through that, covering all different subjects and issues. Every year is a little different. I mean, there's always things like in the environment and racism that come up, but there's always issues that I didn't know anything about. And I'm glad that these artists were out there bringing attention to these issues. But the main thing and the main reason why I do this is because I think that we can do better. All of us, each of us, there's more that we can do just to maybe try to reduce some of the suffering and problems that are going on in this world. I mean, we can choose better leaders, we can create better systems. We can definitely do better than what we're doing right now. Again, the name of the project is We're Doing It All Wrong. That's just what kept coming in my head as I watched TV, watched the news, read things just over and over again. Um, I want to thank the jurors that were involved in this year's exhibition. I always have one juror from out of state and one juror that is, regional, local. So this year, Glenna Jennings she's an associate professor at University of Dayton. So she was one of the jurors. And then the other juror was Dola Rashad, who is a four-time Tony nominated actress and a singer, director, all these other things. And she's born in New York but lives in Italy. So definitely classifies as an out-of-state juror. So we had a lot of fun, but it's always tough going through all the artwork. There's probably 200 entries we have to go through, and it was narrowed down to I think 30 pieces. So not easy to do, but still it's a lot of fun to go through that process and see all the art. So I'm gonna do a couple things. I'm gonna play a video because all the artists are mostly from out of state. So I give them a chance to send in a video since they usually can't be here in person. So I'm gonna play some of their videos, and then the artists that are here in person can say a few words as well. So
Hi, my name is Wade Johnston. I am a visual artist based out of the Kansas City area. And the piece that I have in this current show is part of a series of 20 images that were created over the last 18 months entitled Kabloom. Each one in the series uses the same type of juxtaposed imagery. Flower arrangements that have been composited with military weapons like landmines, hand grenades, automatic rifles, assault rifles, artillery shells, etc. The basic idea was to create visual tension for the viewer by establishing a visual narrative that places one object symbolizing things like growth, nature, life, etc., against another object whose sole purpose was designed to kill or maim individuals that we disagree with on religious grounds, political grounds, economic grounds, you name it. What I've done is I've composited both of the primary objects together and then created sort of a diffused look that I hope renders a dreamlike quality or dreamlike state where those two objects are floating above an abstracted background, removing both from their original narrative and an original environment and establishing a new structure within it. The images are assembled digitally using scans of hand-painted washes that are made with acrylic and watercolor and gouache, ink, line work that is hand-drawn. All of this is brought into Photoshop. It's separated out into multiple layers, probably on average, I would say each one of these is about 100 individual layers in Photoshop that then get flattened. The image is printed in a closed edition run of probably 3 or less. Once the print run is complete, the digital file is struck just like you would do in traditional mediums like lithography, serigraphy, or intaglio, making the image non-reproducible or non-reprintable at that point in time. Absolutely no AI is used in the production of these. The flowers were photographed by me. I photographed all the military objects at a military museum up the road from my house. And everything is assembled by hand in what's actually a very painstaking process over a period of time. I hope that kind of helps let you in on it. I don't have much time to speak here. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. There's more information available for these on my website if you're interested. Thank you very much.
All right. Hi, my name is Colin Smith. I am a Baltimore area photographer. So today I'm here to talk about a number that revolves all around my work, and that number is 5,000. There are about 5,000 abandoned mines in central Pennsylvania that affect the economy and also, especially today, affect the environment. So there is 5,600 square miles of unusable water from acid mine drainage that currently affects the Susquehanna and many major rivers inside Pennsylvania. And the two pieces that I have here today are from mine fires. There are 46 recorded mine fires inside of Pennsylvania. 7 have been extinguished. 16 are considered docile, which means 23 active mine fires are in Pennsylvania right now. Those two pieces that I have right over there, that is from a 111-year-old active mine fire. It's been burning for 111 years. It is one of the oldest mine fires inside Pennsylvania. So steam comes from the ground in several areas, creates fissures. They can burn anywhere from like 100 degrees on the surface. There are quite a few hundred degrees below surface. They also create environmental dead zones. So trees will burn from below, become ghost forest, and eventually charcoal and fall over. And they're still right outside of major cities. The one on the left that's right over here, that is right outside of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Those are active power lines that you see in the background that go to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And they keep on spreading and they'll keep on burning for hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's not just Pennsylvania that's suffering from this. Ohio's got it too. New Steubenville has a mine fire that's been burning for 123 years and still active. And there's acid mine drainage out in eastern Ohio as well. So it's countrywide. So basically what my work is trying to say that if you're using fossil fuels to grow, it comes at a very significant cost.
And that's the kind of thing when I say issues I don't know anything about. I had no idea we had mine fires that have been burning for over 100 years. But they're, I mean, the result of that is it pollution? Is it the heat? What's the problem that it causes?
So that is mine fire steam that's coming from the underground burning. That is particulates that come to the surface, so it can decrease oxygen levels, so it can be dangerous to stand right by them. And the particulate matter, if you are exposed to it long enough, is cancer causing. And also, too, there's heavy metals that start to burn with that, too. So you could talk about arsenic and other such things that can actually burn to the surface. So it is literal square miles. And that one in particular, is from, both of those are from the Red Ash Mine Fire. And there used to be a town there called Laurel's Run. And Laurel's Run was evacuated in the 1950s. And it's now just, you can see foundations around. Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for coming from Baltimore.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
The original title of this piece was meant to be Reunite. Several years ago, I made a study of a flag torn in two, mended together with that word embroidered across the injury. The study ended up in the bottom of a suitcase and didn't reemerge until spring of 2025, when I intended to resurrect Reunite. As I tried to workshop the idea, I just couldn't quite get it to work out formally. Enter that wonderful part of the creative process when something unexpected occurs. While I was piecing out an expanse of red, white, and blue for Reunite, I had been cutting earthy tones and yellows for a honeycomb project that had not fully formed. This is when I began reading Honeybee Democracy by Thomas Seeley, and suddenly the two pieces connected. Rather than a flag repaired, the flag now had something to transform into. The title itself shifted from Reunite to State of the Union, no longer a call to action, but a commentary, a helpless observation made at a time when everything is spinning out of control, when people are being kidnapped and even executed in the streets, losing their jobs because of attributes that should have been protected under Title IX, when protections for education, the environment, and humanitarian aid were overhauled in favor of industry and war. Every day brought a new headline that shattered the illusion of these states being united. Gone was that idealistic hope that our country could overcome our differences for the sake of preserving the Union. As fire, fast-moving, insatiable, and irreparable, seemed an appropriate method of destruction, batik fabrics were selected to show a burning from the inside out. Broken dishes, a quilt block pattern once used as a signal in the Underground Railroad, became a recognition of a chasmic divide we have suffered through before, and a tribute to those who are brave enough to defy it, an increasingly important reminder at a time when our government seeks to whitewash American history. As our stars and stripes burn from within, they reveal the honeycombs beneath, bringing a duality of meaning to what will remain. It is my hope that this duality will present a question to the viewer. When what we have has burned away, as it is indeed burning now, will what remains become a purer form of democracy as even nature observes, or a hive mind where dispensable drones exist to serve the monarch? If even insects are capable of debate, building consensus, and impeaching an ineffective queen, I'd like to believe that there is hope for us humans yet. But it all has to start with one simple agreement, one simple recognition, really. Our country as we know it, as it was founded, is being attacked, and we have a desire to preserve it.
Ta-da! Which ones? First of all, I'd like to say thanks for inviting us for this wonderful exhibition. Very important, very insightful. I'm probably going to speak so we're not kind of over talking each other, but I'm Professor Kelly Phelps. I'm from Centerville, but I'm a professor at Xavier University, and I'm a visual artist, sculptor, very much into figure narrative. Um, the work that we presented today is unlike anything you see on TV every day. So we talk about the atrocities that are happening in the United States, the over militarization of police departments, the immigration debacle that's happening right now, the rogue ICE agents, and things that are happening that are really kind of profound.
I am Professor Kyle Phelps. I'm the other half of the twin duo at the University of Dayton, and my twin brother and I, we've collaborated with all of our works from day one. And working with storytelling and narratives, I mean, that's our thing. Any day you can turn on the news, and there's always something interesting and something important to convey to the public. And I think that's our job to convey those important messages and stories.
So a little bit about the background of our work. Kyle and I grew up in a little farming factory town, and kind of the church was the only way of actually seeing actual art. It was kind of like the quasi art gallery. But Kyle and I really wasn't really kind of like focused in on the storytelling of those narratives, those relief sculptures and things like that. So what we liked about the relief sculpture was it gave us a background of understanding how we can transform kind of like those religious stories, but taking them and turning them to a modern day kind of like interest. So we're looking at those narratives right now. Those are things that are deeply important that are impacting society today. So when we look at those, they're almost like shrines or altars in many ways for Kyle and I to look at that type of art production. But we're never bored. I mean, we're never, every day we see the atrocities on TV or listening to it on the news, and we focus on that. And I think as visual artists, it's our job to kind of like to continue that storytelling and that truth telling.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And then also, when we do the jury, it's a blind jury, so we don't know the names or the places the people are from. So it's nice to know and find out that some people from the area, which they are local, uh, were part of the show. There's probably about I think 4 or 5 artists from Ohio, but like I said, all the rest are from uh, outside of Ohio, so pretty much coast to coast. But I'm gonna play another video.
Hi, I'm Janet Bloom-Pultz. I'm thrilled to be part of the 6th annual We're Doing It All Wrong exhibition. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my ceramic sculpture entitled Wake Up. One day in the fall of 2025, after hearing yet another depressing news story about Trump's latest egregious act, I had a vision of an orange cat sitting on top of a pile of dead birds while a host of clueless white mice looked at their cell phones, totally oblivious they were next on the cat's menu. This predator versus prey image seemed like an apt metaphor for our current regime that blatantly promulgates a might makes right philosophy. I was reminded of the Roman poet's observation that an emperor who provides his citizens bread and circuses can do pretty much whatever he wants. As this vision grew into a plan for a sculpture, placing my cat and dead bird and mouse drama within the context of a Roman ruin seemed particularly appropriate. The intentional weathering of the structure reflects the despair I felt in seeing the demolition of so many values and institutions. The medium of clay and high temperatures added a few happy accidents, like the balcony sagging under the weight of an overfed cat. I had a lot of fun making my clueless mice, literally gluing tiny cell phones to their paws. You can imagine them scrolling through social media, making business calls, dancing to their favorite tunes, sharing a beer or several with a buddy, just chilling in a corner, or being transfixed by the latest episode of Love on Mouse Island. Oblivious to the looming cat above, they ignore the warnings. The only bird alive, a black-capped chickadee, is known as the sentinel of the forest for her noisy alerts when predators are near. The Pompeii-inspired mural, featuring a peaceful garden scene, is marred by a dead blue jay in the corner. One mouse, however, has started to wake up and move to the back door. As the viewer follows his gaze around back, they find 2 mice who drop their cell phones when they find dead birds, one frozen in horror, and the other scampering away on all fours, the only mouse to revert to his animalistic form. I feel for that little guy. Some days I just want to run away too. I hope this piece brings a smile to your face, or even a chuckle or two. But behind the ridiculous images of mice dancing with pink headphones and an orange cat whose golden crown falls off when excited by new prey, I left a reminder. The comedy mask is missing, and only the tragedy mask remains. The anachronistic, ridiculous conceit of this piece, of mice living their lives of electronic distraction in a crumbling Roman ruin, unaware that the vicious cat upstairs has finished off all the birds and is eyeing his next dinner, somehow makes the horror of current events easier to bear. At the same time, these hapless animals bear witness to the reality that someplace in our country, many people suffer and sometimes die. They may not always look like us, but they are still our neighbors. We can all, and may yet be, pray.
Janet and her husband actually brought the piece up from Missouri, and they came a couple weeks ago and stayed in Dayton overnight. So that was cool that they came. I did still get to meet them in person because most of the artists I never get to see or meet at all. But it's nice to meet some of the artists in person, especially hear more detail about the work. So I think there are a couple more artists here, and I see the Honorable Judge Dan Coffis came in. Thanks for coming. Um, Kenneth, where'd he go?
My name is the work. Um, I live in the outskirts of Atlanta, actually, Ohio artist. But the piece that I have submitted is probably back in the mid 90s. I drew this one uh, tribute to a mother and son. But what happened? So what I did in that particular piece, I put handcuffs on, give it a real dramatic effect. And it's sort of a time finished. I was thinking of putting a background, do I want to set the scene? Then when I looked at it, I said, that says it all. Wrongly convicted or accused, or it's more of a song about a strong mother and her resilience. Is sort of in handcuffs. She's determined to cry. Her eyes are about to well, but not cry. She in front of him. She could be hugging him for the last. When I finished it, I looked at it and I could not title it, and whatever emotions they get out of it, I'll allow them to title it. I just didn't have a name for because the content said it all. To her son, uh, I've done everything that I could do. Choose, or you have chosen to, as the show goes. Thank you.
Yeah, so my name's Claudia Celine, and I'm from Ypsilanti, Michigan at the moment, or for the last 10 years. And yeah, these are my pieces, The Garden of Eden and The American Dream. And I never really, it seems like if I talk about what they're about, I'm kind of restating the obvious. So I got in the habit of I write poetry also on occasion. So I'm just going to read you guys a poem that I wrote a couple months ago. A forthright failure, clear cut, without a doubt. The one where the whole world goes south, where species, whole kinds of life forms never seen before, die off. This is the failure where the forests burn to the ground. The water gets mixed with oil and plastic particles, where we drink lead and eat Roundup, where birds fly from lamp post to stadium light and never get south, where giant ugly fish take over the fake ponds, vines from God knows where strangle the trees. This is the failure where billionaires scramble for their rocket ships, and people in the South try to move north, and people near the ocean try to move inland, and people near clean water dump oil and sewage into it, where corporations become living monsters with talons and antennae in every country, and bombs don't need pilots, and armies don't need generals, and anyone can be put in prison or killed for anything or nothing. This is the failure where you can be Martin Luther King, you can be Nelson Mandela or Greta Thunberg or Gandhi or even Jesus Christ, and it won't make a damn bit of difference. You can be 2 million protesters or 2 billion. You can hold your blonde-haired baby in front of the men with guns and they will shoot it like a beer can. You can go viral, telling the truth, and the evening news will still report the lies. You can rape teenagers, molest strangers, kill police officers, start wars, kill schoolgirls, rig the markets, give away bombs and state secrets, and sip mimosas at the sidewalk cafe the next morning. This is the failure where we sit awake at night staring at bombs falling and falling in the blue light of our cell phones, where we wait for an end that is coming and never arrives. But it takes away the arms and the legs and parents from children waiting in line for bags of lentils. It takes away the snow in the mountains, the polar bears, the constitutions and peace treaties, the coral reefs, the coastal towns, the mountain tops, the jobs, the laws, the clean water, the clean air, the silence, and leaves us here to pretend we are happy. Enough.